Hi friends, Rajdeep here, and we're going to talk today on another important aspect of technical writing or technical communication. Why technical communication? I believe that in every facet of life when we write, we need to keep these pointers in mind. We got a lot of feedback. Some of my students as well as experienced people in the industry have been talking about, and they find where they actually say that we need to focus on. So I'm going to talk on sentence structure and grammatical choices today, and I'm going to touch upon parallelism, present tense, active voice and passive voice sparingly. I'm sure many of you have do know it already, but there is some, I would like to share a little bit of my feedback on what I feel about the same. Talk about a little bit about user parallelism first of all. So parallelism, when we talk about it, we talk about the balance between words, a phrase or a group of words or the sentences that we're talking about. And the reason we actually concentrate on parallelism is because user or the readers find it easy to scan the information and read the information for better usage. First and foremost is when you talk about parallelism, we might be actually introducing a series of a list, for example. When you talked about, for example, when you say the Windows XP or Windows XP features the following, and we talked about data configuration, network routers, and blah 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 blah. In this following cases, when you're talking about introducing a series of lists, we are discussing about the feature. We need to be consistent throughout. Then when we write about a procedure, we need to also ensure parallelism. So for example, if I'm let's say to insert a new comment, to insert a review comment, step 1, we say on the review tab, in the comments group, click this or click new comment. So the next step when we write, either you want to ensure select submit or click submit button and all that. So that's another thing in a procedure we need to have ensure parallelism. And then of course when we talk about in sentences when we write, we need to have ensure parallelism is followed all throughout this thing. So user parallelism is something that we need to keep as technical writers, we need to keep it in mind when we construct our sentences. Then comes present tense, and present tense, when we talk about, we are talking about here in the form of a present tense, in simple present tense. And the simple present tense is basically again something which is pretty easy for the user to read and understand. And though the action of the time, the action that we are talking about, the time is evident that it is present, but we are not supposed to actually tell that if the user is reading the information, he finds that the information that he is reading easy and able to understand. So when I talk about a sentence like, let's say, I eat a mango, in this case, the subject I, for that matter, and when he's performing an action called eat, is actually happening on mango. Though I'm not telling if the action is happening right now or not, but at the point of a time when the user is reading, user is able to understand that particular action that we are talking about here is happening. So when we write, although the system is reliable, you should say important messages. Or for that matter, when we write something like, this feature or this list explains the following and that sort of a thing. Alright, so when you're talking about a present tense, again the thing is that the verbs that we talk about, and in a sense that, when we use present tense, it is easier for the user to read. So for example, when we write, when we are writing a lead into a sentence, such as like this system describes the following, or this feature explains the following, for the user it is very, very easy for them to read and understand. There are instances when some people are writing step 4 and sometimes they say, can I totally avoid future tense? Can I totally avoid simple future tense? For example, step 4, let us say you are writing a step to compose an email and you have click send button or click send, full stop, a message will be sent. So should I avoid it and should I say message sent for that matter? I think in that certain instances you can probably use a future tense. You can use a simple future tense to say click send, a message will be displayed or a message will be successfully sent. So present tense, simple present tense is very, very important. And for those of you, those who are coming into technical communication or who are grammar, forms of sentence, forms of tenses and everything are very, very critical for you to follow well. Then comes use active voice, and one of the questions that keeps on coming these days, and everybody seems to actually, we all know that, active voice is recommended in technical documentation, largely because we want to concentrate on the doer of the action or the subject of this action that is performed. So the thing is, active voice is evidently that is what we do it in most of the time. Most of the time when we write in imperative sentences or sentences where we talk about writing instructions which are more, for example, you probably will say, click send, open the gate, click the file. These are imperative sentences where the subject, you, is implied. So for you to have an active voice presence is very, very important. So you can arrange icons in alphabetical order, makes more sense to you rather than the icons are arranged in alphabetical order, the icons are arranged and all that sort of a thing. So always concentrate, on the active voice part of it when you're writing, especially when you're writing procedures. It is more direct, it is more appealing, and it makes your thoughts far more comfortable. And last but not least, we are talking about passive voice out here. So sometime back, one of the person actually said, is active passive voice something that we should totally avoid in text documentation? I think we should not avoid totally in passive voice in documentation. It can come into picture once or twice, and I'll give you one or two instances about that. But when you are thinking about it largely, when you think about to avoid a wordy or an awkward construction, when you are thinking about when the action is the focus rather than the subject, when you think you're writing in error messages, then probably it is better for you to actually call. For example, we get an error message, you say 404 error, 404 error is displayed or 404 message is displayed. Now, it might be displayed on the web browser, it might be displayed on the window. At that point of a time, probably it is better for you to construct a passive voice or construct a passive sentence for that matter. So, sometimes when we talk about, the new icon is displayed on the left-hand corner of your table. And in that point of a time, what you are trying to do in passive voice construction is basically making the action on whom this is basically, evidently it is making more important to that point of view. So whenever you are writing a step or whenever you are writing a procedure, follow this particular four characteristics very, very importantly. User parallelism, present tense, active voice and passive voice, use it sparingly. The idea for any step or any procedure is that you are writing a series of steps in order to complete an action. And when I am writing a step to complete an action, the reader should be able to follow the step. Maybe they get a phone call, maybe they go out of the product, but when they come back, they should be able to continue from where they have left. And it is our responsibility as technical communication professionals to actually write it for the reader and ensure that we follow all the aspect of it, and it could be on the product to the prudent. So I think if we follow the sentence structure and grammatical choices, and if we work on that, we'll be able to write which in turn is the main reason why people actually go through the user manual. Hope you like the video. We'll get back to you again.